Hello, and welcome to today's laid back restorative flow. Begin by lying on your back, then walk the feet out a little wider than your hips and allow the knees to fall in toward one another. You want the knees, the insides of the thighs, to actually rest against one another. So depending on your level of flexibility and your particular anatomy of your hips, you may need to experiment a little bit with the width of your feet to find a comfortable resting position. Turning the palms to face the sky and closing the eyes if that feels all right. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Finding a slight tuck in the chin, almost like you're giving yourself a double chin, so that the back of the neck lengthens and the spine becomes long onto the floor. Slowly begin to walk your feet back in toward one another. Extending the left leg long onto the floor and hugging the right knee into your chest, lacing the fingers over the shin, or if that position is uncomfortable for your knee, maybe lacing the fingers around the back of the thigh. Using your hands, begin to take the right knee into counterclockwise circles, bending and straightening through the arms as you circle the leg, gently massaging the front of the right hip. And stop that motion and circle the knee into the other direction. Eventually finding stillness, hugging both knees into your chest and rocking gently side to side. Gently extending the right leg out long onto the floor and lacing your fingers over the left knee or under the left thigh, hugging the knee into your chest. And begin to take those circles on this side. Stopping that motion and taking those circles in the other direction. Eventually finding stillness, and hugging both knees into your chest. Rocking gently side to side and feeling the sacrum resting firmly against the floor. Then pull the knees just wide of your rib cage and begin to circle the ankles, stretching through the feet, stretching through the ankles. Circling the feet in the other direction. Finding stillness and inhaling, pressing the knees away from your chest, bringing the knees together, and exhaling as you pull the knees in and wide of your ribs. Inhale, push the knees away, and exhale, pull them in. Inhale, press the knees away, and exhale, pull them in and out. Continuing this motion a few more times, moving at your own pace. Eventually hugging the knees back into center and rocking gently left to right. And releasing the feet, bringing them back to the floor. Bring the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to gently fall open, coming into a reclined butterfly. Palms of the hand turn to face upward. Relaxing the hip, relaxing the inner thighs, and just allowing gravity to gently pull the knees open. Deep belly inhale. Long, drawn out exhale. Bring the soles of the feet back to the floor and cross the right ankle over the left knee. If your hips are especially tight, you may just want to stay here, or if you'd like to take the stretch a little deeper, lace the hands around the back of the left thigh, drawing the left knee in toward your chest. Rocking gently left to right. bring the left foot back to the floor, uncrossing the right leg and crossing the left ankle over the right knee. Holding here, or maybe lacing the fingers around the backside of the right thigh. Holding in stillness, or maybe rocking gently right to left. The more you hug your right knee into your chest and rock your tailbone back down to the floor, the deeper this stretch becomes in the left hip. Release the right foot back down to the floor, uncrossing the left leg. Bringing both feet back up and grabbing hold of the ankles, or maybe lacing the fingers around the feet if you can reach them, for another variation of our reclining butterfly. And taking notice of your spine here, noticing its natural curvature, noticing where your spine rests firmly against the floor and where it lifts away from the floor. And see if you can press your entire spine flat against the floor. Noticing how long your spine really is. Releasing the feet, hug your knees back into your chest, rocking gently side to side. And release the hands back to your side, extending the feet up toward the ceiling for a legs up the wall variation. Staying here, or if you have a yoga block or a folded up blanket, I highly recommend placing that behind the hips. This is a great release for the low back. Bending through the knees as much as needed here, and finding that nice balance point with the feet above. If you're feeling balanced in this position, option to take the arms overhead. Bend your knees back into your chest, hugging the knees in with your hands and rocking gently left to right, this time with hips on the block or blanket. Extend the left leg out long, lacing fingers over the right knee or thigh. And try to pull the right knee in enough that the left leg hovers, not resting on the floor. This way you don't have to strain or press to stretch the front of the left leg, but gravity can gently pull the leg down. Bring the left leg back into your chest, holding for a moment, and then lacing fingers over the left leg, extending the right leg out long and allowing it to hover. Pull the right knee back into your chest, hugging both knees in. Feeling your sacrum press strongly against the floor or the block beneath you. Eventually releasing your feet back down to the floor and pulling that block or blanket out. And crossing the left leg over the right, maybe once, or maybe crossing the ankles as well. Lift and shift the hips slightly over to the left, allowing the knees to fall over to the right. Extending the palms to face the ceiling, and maybe turning your gaze over the left shoulder. Thinking about allowing both shoulders to rest onto the floor here. No worries if your knees don't fall all the way over and rest onto the floor. You can just let them hover. Using an inhale, pull yourself back to center, unlacing the legs and extending the right leg to cross over the left, maybe for a cross of the knees, maybe also of the ankles. But no worries if that's not working for you today. Lift and shift the hips over to the right slightly, allowing the knees to fall over to the left. Maybe turning the gaze over the right shoulder. Breathing deeply here, pulling your inhale all the way down into your belly, into the abdomen. And again, using an inhale, pull yourself back to center, unlacing the legs and gently windshield wipering the knees side to side, gently massaging the back side of the hips. Eventually finding stillness and taking that block, or maybe using a rolled up blanket or towel, we'll lay down onto the block or blanket or towel, placing it somewhere in the upper back between the shoulder blades, and then laying back. You may need to adjust, lifting back up, trying this a few times until you find a position that's comfortable. Resting down. Maybe straightening the legs. Maybe extending the arms overhead. Remembering to breathe deeply and slowly, even when we're taking a back bend. Making our way out of this pose, bringing the hands back to our side, bending the knees, soles of the feet back to the floor. Press yourself up with your hands, removing the block or blanket, making your way back down to the floor for our final resting pose. Walking the soles of the feet out wide again and allowing the knees to fall in toward one another. Taking one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Snuggle the shoulder blades under the heart space. Noticing the natural rise and fall of your chest, the natural rise and fall of your belly. This will conclude our practice for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. If you enjoyed this flow, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below for more flows in the future.